What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and in this video we will take a look at what Liverpool can do with the left back position, because Andy Robertson doesn't have a proper backup. Only James Milner, who is 34 years old now, and he's getting on a bit. He doesn't have that pace and that same skill set that Andy Robertson had. So Liverpool are looking to sign a new left back in the summer, and the main two targets are Jamal from already relegated in Norwich, who has of course a lot of potential. He's very fast, very skillful, and he could be available for around 10-15 million. Same with Lloyd Kelly, who of course also was Liverpool's transfer target last summer, but Bournemouth paid like £15 million for him in the end, and he was a backup at Bournemouth and Liverpool didn't want to pay that amount, but he's also another option. So let me know guys, who do you think would be the perfect left back backup for Andy Robertson? And in this video we will take a look at how Liverpool actually will go about this. So the arrival of Andy Robertson fixed Liverpool's problematic left back position. We had left backs like Dosena, Insua, Konchesky, Jack Robinson, Flanagan, Jose Enrique, Brad Smith, Aloisi Sissoko, Alberto Moreno, but none of them really nailed down the position for many years like Andy Robertson is doing it right now. They were experiments, gambles and prospects who never reached probably the heights that Andy Robertson has, and the rise of Andy Robertson has been pretty remarkable. We signed him from relegated Hull City, and he became one of the best left backs in the world, and definitely the best left back in the Premier League right now. It wasn't the most exciting signing, it wasn't the most expensive signing, but his impact in the 3 years since he signed for Liverpool has been really remarkable. Andy Robertson in many ways became the symbol of Jurgen Klopp's side. He is energetic, aggressive, hungry, consistent, and he's prolific in his output. He's getting loads of assists every season, and sometimes he scores the odd goal as well. He was molded into a superstar, a European champion, a world champion, a Premier League champion, and Jurgen Klopp did that. At 26 years old, Robertson is very much part of the future at Anfield. He's rarely injured, his attitude is impeccable, and he is like the majority of Jurgen Klopp's star men. He's tied to a long-term contract as well, and Jurgen Klopp absolutely adores him. He said he's maybe the best Scot here since Kenny Dalglish, he said last year, and his teammates, Liverpool teammates, adore him as well. So how do Liverpool cope with the absence of Andy Robertson? When he's not there, when he has to be rested, when he's injured, how do they go about sourcing a backup? Robertson has actually played in 70 of the last 74 Premier League matches, which is like a 90-95% ratio, following the departure of Moreno on a free transfer last summer, and he's now the only specialist left back, senior left back in Jurgen Klopp's squad. We have James Milner, but he's not an out-and-out left back, and we have Yasser Larouci, but Larouci isn't really up to the standard of the Premier League, and I feel that Jurgen Klopp will sell him in the summer. He's likely to move on. Larouci is rated highly, and he has trained regularly with the senior squad at Melwood this season, but it has come to the conclusion that he will need to leave in order to play regular first-team football. Under-23s football and the odd appearance in the domestic cup competitions is just not enough for the talented, ambitious 19-year-old. He knows he's not displacing and replacing Andy Robertson anytime soon. So where does that leave Liverpool? They had hoped Larouci or perhaps homegrown prospect Adam Lewis could emerge as a natural understudy for Andy Robertson in much the same way as Neco Williams has with Trent Alexander-Arnold. But Lewis, who signed he's 20 years old, he signed a new long-term contract this week. He will most certainly head out on loan. James Norris, another young Scouser, has made good strides, but he only just turned 17 years old in April, and he's some way off being considered for the first team, which leaves the ever-dependable James Milner as Robertson's senior deputy. Milner has performed admirably at left back in the past, spending the entirety of the 2016-17 campaign there, prior to Robertson's arrival, but he will be 35 in January, and there is no doubt that Liverpool's balance suffers without a natural left footer on that side, particularly given the space Sadio Mane creates when he is moving in field. So it's pretty evident that when Milner plays, and it was the same when Williams started on the left against Brighton recently, that Liverpool just lose that left side a little bit. And of course the threat that Andy Robertson poses, it still remains to be seen whether Liverpool will look to dip into the transfer market at all ahead of next season. The signs are that it will be a low-key summer, but that has not stopped the rumor mill from working, of course. But Jurgen Klopp has admitted that there could be opportunities later in the year as the financial impact of the whole situation becomes clearer. You have to be creative, and we try to be creative, Jurgen Klopp told reporters last month. It is not a squad you have to change now and say, okay, we need this position and this position and that position. Yes, if you are a football supporter, you want a backup for him and him and him. Even if you are completely happy with everyone, you want backups. But what we want is to create our transfers internally. Of course, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Neco Williams, these are great players coming through. Ryan Brewster is also an intriguing young forward option. Ryan Brewster is really banging in goals for Swansea, left, right and centre. He has like 9 goals in 18 games or something like that. So Liverpool would be prepared to bring in another left back, but only for the right player. Jamal Lewis of Norwich City, according to Goal.com, is well thought of at Liverpool, and he should be available following Norwich's relegation. Lloyd Kelly was flagged up by Liverpool's scouting team prior to his move to Bournemouth last summer. Kelly, who is in the England under-21 international, represents an interesting option given he can play at centre-back as well. He could be that kind of creative solution Jurgen Klopp was talking about. The Reds are likely to lose Dejan Lovren in the coming months. Zenit St. Petersburg, AC Milan, Roma are all interested in Lovren, which would leave them light on senior options in the center of defense too. So a versatile signing would do no harm. Lloyd Kelly can play as a left back, he can play as a centre back. Whatever happens, Jurgen Klopp and his team have earned the right to be trusted, and their spending or lack of may concern supporters who want to see their side strengthen from a position of strength. But the strategy has worked so far. The Liverpool's form over the past 3 years cannot be questioned. They have a history of pulling off these incredible transfers. I mean, for 3 years in a row, we signed players from relegated teams. Wijnaldum from Newcastle, Shaqiri from Stoke, and Robertson from Hull City. And all 3 of them were really big successes, especially Wijnaldum and Robertson. But Shaqiri, I consider that a successful signing as well. So I think that we could do a similar deal, and I think Jamal Lewis would be perfect. But I'm also a big fan of Lloyd Kelly. I think he's a good player as well. I haven't seen him play that much. Jamal Lewis, I think, is probably the better player right now. But whatever Liverpool decides, it's going to be fully supported by me, to be honest. So Jamal Lewis is only 22 years old. He was born in 98 and he is 5'10", so 178 centimeters tall. And he was actually growing up a talented athlete. He competed at national level for his age group over 800 meters and 1,500 meters. And he actually represented England schools in athletics and finished second in the English schools under 17 cross country in 2014. He started off his career at Luton Town as a youth player. That's his hometown club, and he won a European five-a-side under-11 championship in 2009. He left Luton in 2013. He signed for Norwich in 2014, and he has played for Norwich all his professional career. He played 2 seasons in the championship, getting 24 appearances in his first and 44 in his second season, and he already played 31 games in all competitions this season for Norwich City. But it's sad that Norwich got relegated. They are a good club with decent players, and Jamal Lewis could be available on a very, very good deal. I think for like 10-15 million Liverpool could get him, and I think Jamal Lewis wants to stay in the Premier League, And if Liverpool come calling, I think that it's no question that Jamal Lewis would love to sign for Liverpool. If you get relegated from the Premier League and then Liverpool wants to sign you, who would say no to that? Lloyd Kelly is actually 1 year younger than Jamal Lewis. He's from Bristol. He's also the same height, 5'10", 178 centimeters. And Bristol City was the club of Lloyd Kelly, before he signed for Bournemouth. He joined Bristol City at the age of 12 when he was spotted playing for a local side, Bristol Central, and he was included in as early as 2015-16 season in Bristol City's pre-season squad that visited Portugal. He actually made his professional debut in 2017 in a 5-0 victory against Plymouth in the EFL Cup. And also he made his first league start on December the 23rd, 2017. So for Bristol, he played 14 games in his first full season, 34 games in his second full season, and then for Bournemouth, he only played 6 times this season as a backup player, but I guess he's not yet quite ready for the Premier League, so that's why I said that Jamal Lewis probably would be the better signing, because he's just more used to the playing in the Premier League. And Jurgen Klopp gave a very, very interesting interview saying that the title win is a milestone, a huge milestone for Liverpool, but it cannot be the last one. Liverpool want to win more titles. This is what Jurgen Klopp said. It's 100% one of the greatest days in my life to finally get my hands on this trophy when everybody was waiting to get their hands on it. 2 or 3 years ago, nobody thought it would be possible for us. So I will be proud of the boys, and it's a milestone. We should see it like that. It's a very important day, but then the last very important day for us. We will be in very good spirits. It's a little like Christmas. Even if you know what present you are getting, it's still exciting when you get it. When Pep Guardiola was at Bayern and we came second to them quite frequently, it was the same thing. They would dominate the league until they became champions, and after that they would lose some games. Bayern would have nothing to go for then, but I'm really happy with how we have showed up. It was nothing obvious. It was not that we lost focus here or there. We were the better side against Arsenal and against Burnley, but we lost against Arsenal for obvious reasons, so I can't really explain it. We have had an outstanding season and I'm not willing to make that smaller. And Jurgen Klopp said what his emotions will be when Henderson lifts the Premier League trophy. It's really difficult, it's quite a challenge. I try to be prepared for it, kind of, but there's a football game, a very important football game before that, but I cannot and I don't want to ignore that after that football game, whatever happens, there will be a trophy lift tomorrow night. The boys worked so hard for it. Everybody in this club worked so hard for it. So in the stadium, it should be as good as anyhow possible. I will not disturb that, I'm sure not. I will be in best spirits. On a professional basis, it's 100% one of the greatest days of my life. To finally get our hands on this trophy, which everybody was waiting so long for. It's a big challenge. The only thing I really experienced in this department, if you want, is when Pep Guardiola was at Bayern Munich. We obviously became second quite a lot, and we will prepare the Chelsea game. No question, everything will be like always, and then we have to go out there. But in sports and in life, the only thing what you can do always is that you make the first step before the second step. The first step is the game and that's it, but it will not be then in the end influential or on whatever, because after that we get the trophy for an outstanding season. That's how it is. I'm not willing to make that smaller. I don't put now extra pressure on the boys. This will be different. They all know they are old enough. They all know it's more fun if you win the game. But again, there's a proper challenge there. The Premier League thought, make it a bit more tricky. Give them Chelsea. Chelsea has here this kind of history that they were around when last time it didn't happen with Jose Mourinho on the sideline. That's probably not part of the best memories here in the club. If we want, we can try to strike back for that. I'm not sure how many of my team were in that team that time, but it's the situation. Look, I don't have to create some special scenarios or whatever. You know it will be difficult against Chelsea. Probably you think now, in this moment, Chelsea will win the game and Liverpool will have the trophy lift. Anyways, afterwards, I don't think we will lose the game. I think we will be in a proper mood for the game as well. But like always, whatever I say here, we have to show it on the pitch and not now in this press conference. We can talk about it. That will not change anything for the game. Hopefully the things I tell the players players will change a few things or put them right. I trust them 100%. I trust myself because I know that I'm completely in the competition mood and the boys are that as well. But it's not as if nothing would happen around the game. So we know that, and that's something we cannot ignore. But we have to put the blinkers on, if you like. It's obviously different because the decision was made on June the 25th. When we were confirmed champions, so it was clear from that moment on. But it will happen in general this season. We were not too surprised that it will happen, but how could I know how influential it will be on myself before you have it? Tomorrow is different. We are now champions already for a month or so, but it's not about that. It's really about what we all do. It's a little bit like Christmas, if you know already, and I'm absolutely delighted that the boys have this moment because they deserve it more than anybody else. They deserve it because they work incredibly hard. They dealt with so many setbacks in the last few years. We won the title this season, but we prepared already since 2 or 3 years. So it was a really long run up to this moment, and it will be 100% emotional again. How emotional? I don't know, because that's how it is with your emotions. You have to wait until you feel them. I really hope that our fans know that we mean it when we say this title is for you. It's 100% for you. The best example is that we won this league. Okay, we had not enough points until then, but we won this league before lockdown. We brought it over the line after lockdown. I'm really happy with what the boys did. Not happy with all the results. A good chance that we will stay a really good football team, but that should show everybody that together we can do anything. If we really stick together, we can do anything. That's exactly what happened in the last 3 years since I'm in. Actually, I always felt a massive support from the fans. I can understand it's a tricky situation. It's unfortunate that the fans can't be with us to celebrate. And again, I promise, Jurgen Klopp said, that we will have this title celebration party, which everybody deserves, at an appropriate time. Pretty much the first possibility we will use to do exactly what everybody deserves, but we can do it only if everybody behaves appropriately. That's how it is. In the stadium, we are in a safe place. So watch the pictures. That will be as emotional as possible. That's much more possible than it was before. 3 months ago, nobody would have thought it was possible. Now we know it's possible. Now we have it. Now we should really do the right thing again. I only can ask you for exactly that. I understand it's a personal challenge, but we had more and we had bigger challenges in the past with this club, 100%. This time we are really prepared for that. So stay at home, celebrate there in a safe place with your families and the second household or whatever, and keep it in your mind that we will be together, all together, when it's possible again, and we will have a title celebration party together with the fans when it's safe to do so. So that's the perfect way to end this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.